What's going on, y'all? I want to welcome y'all back to another episode of Black Bottom Bread Word Talk. I know it's been a minute. Life been lifing. Now I'm back at y'all today. On today's episode, we have author of Well, here I go tripping again on the first live, and I ain't been on this mug in a long time. We got author Prison to Properties. We're gonna talk to him today about his journey, about his book, and everything in between. What up, though?
What's up with it?
Ain't nothing, man. I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story with the people. What first
Yeah,
thing,
man.
introduce yourself to the people, let them know what you got going on.
All right. My name Donald. Donald Hinton. I'm a real estate investor. Did a lot of time in prison, and while I was in prison, I learned some stuff that helped me go a different route. You know, most of the people doing the stuff that they doing because they don't know no better. Nobody ever taught them nothing different. So while I was in prison, somebody taught me, and when I got out, I implemented it, and now I'm investing in real estate.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Before we get off into this book, right? Let's get off into you. Get off into your mindset. Where you come from? Where you from?
Uh, I'm from originally I'm from a small town. It's called Alton, Illinois. That's down by East St. Louis. So I grew up there and everything, and then I ended up going up to Iowa. And when I got to Iowa, I brought some of that bull with me, and ended up going to prison because of it. So I'm from Alton, but I'm in Iowa right now.
Out of all the places in America, man, what made you decide on Iowa, man?
Because whenever you come from where we come from, it's like we got to get away from that. So my auntie and uncle had moved up to Iowa, and they was like, man, come up here, you can stay out of trouble and all of that stuff. So Iowa was just close, and they told me come up here. I ended up going to school up here, graduating high school up here, and just brought all of that stuff with me. And they don't like that type of stuff up here.
Iowa wasn't ready for you, huh?
Nah, they wasn't ready. I guess I wasn't ready for them because they showed me, right?
Doubt, no doubt. What did you end up going to prison for?
I ended up going to prison for guns and drugs. So I ended up getting caught with some weed and some X pills up in Iowa. And then they ended up slapping me on the wrist and they gave me probation. But while I was on probation, I didn't learn.
Oh,
And
there
I
was
ended up getting caught with a gun, and that sent me to the feds.
okay. How long you end up doing in the feds?
So I did 2 years for my probation violation in the state, and then I did 6 years in the feds, and they ran it all together. So I did 8 years altogether.
Uh, why in the feds did you make up your mind like this is what I'm about to do when I get out, or would you still continue to thug while in the feds?
So that's a good question, bro. So whenever I got to the feds, it was a new experience. I ain't never been to prison before. So I went and did the state time. I did 2 years in the state. So that was my first time getting a prison experience. But that was like a medium low. That was like a lower facility. So when I got to the feds, they put me up in a medium facility, where they got the doors that lock at nighttime, you and your cellie up in there. That was a change that changed my whole perspective on prison. I'm like, this ain't for me. So the prison I ended up going to was Oxford, Wisconsin. So my dad, he ended up doing 20 years in the feds. All
Whoa,
right.
no
This
doubt.
was the same exact prison that I visited my dad at. So my son came to visit me one day in that same exact prison. And that right there, that broke me down. I wasn't thugging and stuff while I was in there, but I wasn't serious, you know what I mean? But whenever my son came to visit me up in that jail, up
Yeah.
in that same one, that made me get serious. So, I started getting serious, educating myself, learning, coming up with that plan for whenever I get out.
Were you totally educating yourself, or did they offer anything to help you with this?
So where I was at, I educated myself. I picked up a psychology book and just started reading. I was reading, I wasn't dumb or nothing like that. So I was reading, but I was reading like James Patterson's and all of that stuff. So whenever this happened, I promised I wasn't gonna read no more bull. I wasn't gonna watch no more TV. I only read stuff that actually helped me, you know. So they did offer courses and classes, ACE classes and stuff like that. So you know, if you want it, you can get it. It's not mandatory though. So those is the things you got to seek. And yeah, I took advantage of them.
Now, and what would you ever find yourself in trouble, or you just aced it straight through there getting yourself together?
Yeah, I ain't getting in no trouble while I was there. You know, like in the feds, you know, the feds got it's politics. So if you ain't with the GDs or the MOs or something like that, then who is you with? You know, so when you in the feds, you got to be with somebody. So I ain't choose to go that route. You know what I mean? I ain't never been affiliated with nothing, but when I got to the feds, I just stuck by myself for real. And you know, you just stay out of that bull, you know, because in the feds, like if your homeboy beat up somebody, you got to go beat up the next people with them. You know, you got to ride with them.
Right.
Yeah, that ain't normal. Like I don't even know these people, but I gotta risk my life and risk my time for these people. So I just stayed out of the politics and kept my head down and in them books.
Out of the 8 years, right? When did the deciding factor come? Okay, I'm about to write a book.
That's a good question, bro. I wrote this book like 3 years ago. I wrote it after I got out. I never had no intentions on writing a book. I had intentions on getting into real estate. And when I got into real estate, I I was like, I'm a hustler, right? We hustlers by nature. While I was in the feds, I was the store man. So
So
it always running in my blood, you know. So whenever I ended up getting me some properties, I'm like, I'm about to write a book and sell it, you know. So that's where that idea came from. It wasn't like nothing that I planned on doing. It was just something I seen people on Instagram and stuff doing it. Like you got to have a book to sell them whenever you do your stuff. So I ended up writing this book. It's called From Prison to Properties, and it's just basic financial understanding on how to get into real estate, man.
how long did it take you to actually put together the book, write it?
So a crazy story is whenever I got out, I ended up acquiring these properties, right? My first one I acquired 4 months after I got out. And then I acquired another one. So I'm like, man, I'm the guru now. I'm rich dad, poor dad now. So I'm out celebrating and kicking it and stuff like that. And I ended up catching a DUI. So I catch a DUI while I'm on probation. I'm uh I'm out of the state that I'm supposed to be in, so they ended up sending me to jail. And I gave me 30 days in jail. And that 30 days is whenever I chose to write the book. You know, so I sat down for that 30 days, came up with the outline, and it wasn't supposed to be a book, it was supposed to be a course. And when I started going around trying to pitch the course, they like, where is it at? What you got? And all. So then I revamped it into a book. And then whenever I went around pitching it now I got something to show them. I got an actual product that I could show them. So that whole process took about maybe 3 months. So I got out, had the outline, and then I hired a ghostwriter to help me with this because I never wrote no book before. So
So
I had hired him, and we put it together.
outside of the real estate, have you been actively promoting your book, like book events, seminars, and things like that?
Oh yeah. So I do a lot of speaking engagement with the kids. So I just recently got off of probation. So my PO didn't want me interacting with felons and stuff like that. And that's who I'm really trying to help. So the first 2 years while I was on probation, I was doing it with the kids. going into the high schools and going to events like that and promoting my book that way. So yeah, with me getting off of probation now I'm about to start reaching out to these prisons. So selling one book at a time is all right, but I'm trying to sell the whole box. You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure. Now, that's the book side, right? What intrigues
Hmm.
about your story is the simple fact of coming home and get straight to it. Because a lot of
Hmm.
sit in prison for a lot of years have all these master plans and great ideas and thoughts, but never uh, execute the plan. Now, when you came out, did you have any hurdles that were stopping you from executing your plan?
That's the thing. Like when I got out, I went to a city where I didn't know nobody, so it wasn't no hurdles. It wasn't no temptation to go back to what I used to do. So when I got out, I had like 10 bands saved from being the store man. So I had money, so it wasn't like I was struggling and had to figure out a way. So that 10 bands really helped me, and I went to a city where I didn't know nobody, so it wasn't no distraction. I knew what I was gonna do. I was gonna get into the stock market and get into real estate. That was the plan. And then I'm around people who I don't know. So if I know that you doing some stupid stuff, I'm not going around you, right? I'm going straight to the people that's already doing real estate and getting into investing and stuff like that. So my landlord was the person I knew, and I asked him if he had a property he wanted to sell. I gave him the 10 bands. He gave me the property on contract, and we went from there.
Now, what's your plans with this? You want to continue with residential or commercial as well?
That's a good question, bro. So now that I got 15 of them now, right? So my next thing is I want to open a halfway house, right? So that's what I'm in the works of right now. Trying to get me like a group home halfway house type deal. Try to get that started. So uh, in the next month or two, you'll see me promoting that next. But as far as getting more properties, yeah, but I would want to do a commercial like my goal is a skyscraper. So I want to get like a whole bunch of units in one place. Right now they all over the place, little bitty houses, but I want to get that big old unit, you know.
Is it just you or do you rock out with a team?
I don't have no team yet, and that's the reason probably why I'm stagnated. I could have probably been to my goals, but right now it's just me.
You eventually gonna get you a team?
Yeah, I wanna get a whole bunch of investors, So I started a course and a community where I'm teaching these guys how to get into it. So eventually, whenever we start going, we'll all pool our money in and start doing big stuff. But for right now, it's just me.
That sounds kind of dope for real. More people need to do that, man. Cause anytime a person be locked up for said crime, whatever the crime was, and they have a,
Hmm.
it's always something that's stopping them. But you are like the minority when it relates to people coming home and getting straight to the bag, right?
Hmm.
Do credit play a part in this?
It do eventually, but it didn't when I got started. And let me explain that to you. A lot of people think you need credit, you need job history, none all of that. But the first thing you need to do is find a deal. It don't matter what your credit score is, how much money you got, if you ain't got no deal, right? So finding the deal is the most important part, because if you find a deal and you ain't got all the other things, somebody else can come in and partner with you. So whenever I got mine, I was 4 months out. So I ain't had no credit history established. I ain't had no job history. I just had 10 bands to my name. And we just signed a contract saying that I'm going to pay him. It's called seller's financing, where I'm going to pay him instead of going to a bank. Right. So he gave me the property and I just paid him. Right. So that's what you need. You need a deal. So whenever you get going, yeah, eventually you'll need credit to go into this bank and get those loans for a building or get that credit card to fix up these houses and stuff right now. But in the beginning, you need a deal. So credit is important, but not as important as people may think.
It sounds like you more in tune of using your own cash flow versus OPM.
Well, if you look at it like that, still is OPM, but it's not the traditional way. It's called creative financing. So I used his money. Like he gave me the $90,000. I just put 10 with it. You know what I mean? So now I owe him 80. So I'm still using his $80,000, but um, I'm not doing it the traditional way. And that's how it was whenever I got a uh, a bigger loan. You know, I used the seller's $80,000 traditional. I mean, I used his, and then I got a bank loan for a personal business loan. I mean, a business loan, and then just pulled it all together and used hard money and all of these other things you can use. But it's still other people money, but it's just not in the traditional way that we think about it.
Right. When you say
Mhm.
obtaining the bank loan, did you use your first property as collateral for the bank loan?
No, I had 2 years on my job. So a bank want to see that you can pay them back, right? So whenever you walk into a bank and be like, "Let me get some money," they're gonna be like, "Can you pay me back?" You be like, uh, "No." You know, if you just getting out of prison, they're gonna be like, "How can you pay us back?" So do you got collateral? Do you got job history? So I just use my tax statements, like showing that I make 100,000 a year. So let me get $20,000. You know, so they don't require collateral in that sense. But what they do require is you to give a personal guarantee. So if anything go wrong, then you are liable for it. So they're gonna come after your personal stuff, but they don't require you to have that stuff.
For people getting into real estate, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts from your own experience. What would be the first thing that one should do, coming from your personal experience? Just so y'all know, we this is no go-to way. We just telling the story about what worked for one person, and if it worked for one,
Mhm.
you know it can work for another.
Okay, that's a good question. What I, what I be telling like the people that I work with is to learn how to find deals. That's the biggest thing. So the first thing most people gonna do is go on Zillow, and Zillow is not a deal. Zillow is a house for sale. You know, we got to find deals. So you got to find that old lady who just had a divorce, who just want to get rid of this stuff because a reminder of her past. That's a deal because it's worth $100,000. She like, give me $50,000. You can have this. That's the deal. You know what I mean? You got to find these foreclosures. These foreclosures that's $17,000, but got a tree sitting on top of the building. You know, so you got to spend 50,000 to get it back going, but it's gonna be worth 200,000. That's the deal. So you got to learn how to find deals, and there's plenty ways to learn how to find deals. That's some of the stuff I teach.
So you have to basically use your ingenuity, uh, get up off your ass and make it happen.
Mm.
Ain't no mother
Yeah.
I'm talking about something about to look on the internet and all this other goofy ass shit. You really gotta put in the work to find these deals.
To find a deal, yeah. You can find any like it's houses for sale on every block, but they not deals, man. And that's the thing we try to do. We try to go in. I want to get into real estate, but you buy this $100,000 house for $100,000. You ain't making no money. So yeah, that's how you find deals. One of the deals I found, it was for 25,000, right? The house was worth 38,000, and that's as is. So I made 13,000 by buying this house, and I didn't come out 25,000 out of my pocket. You know what I mean? I used a bank loan and used my 401k. You know what I mean? Just like it's just so many ways, man. in so many ways.
So it seemed like, right, I'm trying to take in your words because I never put thought to this looking for the deal. My thing was to go look into these websites and find a cheap house to buy. So
Mhm.
it seems like it would be better. I don't want to say it like this, but pick up a newspaper, an old newspaper that don't nobody read, and look for a sad ass story.
You ain't wrong, bro. And then look, and then contact them people like, man, I'm sorry about your loss, or I'm sorry about what's going on with you. I'm a real estate investor. They go like another thing I teach these people is to always talk about real estate because the deacon at your church probably got a house for sale, right? Your cousin's uncle is going through some stuff where he can't pay his taxes and he want to sell his house. You know what I mean? So it's always somebody who trying to sell. So you just got to talk about real estate. Nobody knows you for real estate. So whenever it's time for a deal, they're not calling you. You know what I mean? So just make yourself familiar with real estate, learning how to find these deals, and just keep on talking about real estate.
I hope y'all paying attention to these words, right? Because this was like some free game. Now,
Yeah,
and why you putting these courses together and selling your product from life experience, but this totally is free game right here on Black Bottom Bread Word Talk. Get up off
yeah,
your ass, do stuff what other people ain't doing, and make it happen. We
yeah,
so used to following a set rule, but sometimes you got to go outside the box to get the things that you're looking for. And I'm just listening to your story, and it seems that you are a proven fact that if you outside of the box, one can make it happen.
yeah. Hmm.
Now, do you wake up daily like my goal is to find this deal, or do deals haphazardly find their way into your lap?
It's to the point where they just call it like, oh, everybody know me for real estate now, right?
Huh.
So it's like they fall into my lap most of the times. Like most of the deals I got fell into my lap. We was giving a lady a ride home from work, and she's like, "I'm trying to sell my house," and I jumped on it like that. You know what I mean? Bought that one. I was closing on one deal. The mortgage lender, she was like, "I know where it's another deal at," you know. So that one fell into my lap. So once you get a lot of people just not in a real estate room. They not in a real estate conversation. So that's why they don't find deals, you know. So the more you talk about it, the more it's gonna fall into your lap. So it's just been falling into my lap lately. But now I'm at the point where I'm trying to teach other people. I'm trying to find other people deals because I did it in 4 months. How long will it take me to help you find a deal? You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at now, trying to see if I really know what I'm talking about helping other people.
Well, I'm about to take you up on that. I'm gonna say it right live, right here on the air. I'm looking for the help, and I'm going to keep a part of the course and all that other stuff. Because if somebody can help me find a deal that I can't find myself, I'm all with. You know what I mean? Every service is
Hell yeah.
real.
I got you. I got you. See if I can help you. It took me 4 months. How long can I? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I can help you get one in quicker than 4 months, but we'll see.
It's now as it relates to being an author, packaging your life experience and putting it off as what worked for you, right? Do you see yourself in a strange situation? I mean, like when you having all these talks, going to seminars, that you spending more time helping others and talking about what you have done versus actually finding the deals?
You said you hold up. Can you reframe that? You saying is it an awkward situation or am I? What you mean by that?
Like, because you said you be speaking, right? And,
Yeah.
and speaking takes a lot of a person's time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You got to go to this seminar. You got to be at this place. You got to be at this place. Now, I'm saying, do that take up your time from actually searching out the deals?
Oh, yeah. I'm right now. I'm not looking for no more deals. I got 15 of them right now, and I got a lot of gray hairs because of it. So I got a lot on my plate. You know what I mean? So these deals I got, I'm just gonna let them do what they do. So now the speaking is about to help me pay off these deals, right? So that's what I'm doing now. I'm promoting my products so I can pay off these deals where now it's all free and clear. You know what I mean? So that's my mindset right now. So I ain't trying to add no more to my portfolio right now. If some come, then yeah, I'm a snatch them up. But for right now, if they come, I'm probably more than likely gonna send them to my students.
Got you, got you. So you to the point that it makes no good to you if you can't help others achieve the same thing that you have achieved. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Mm. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all good. Like I like getting some money every first of the month, but if I'm just doing it, like what difference did I make? You know what I mean? What did I do this for?
Because we all know, right? When you don't chase the bag and you constantly do the things that you love, the money gonna follow. And that's
Yeah.
what in a unique situation for you to be able to focus on helping others and speaking. And so that shows right there in the sense that you're doing something that you like. And by you doing something
Mhm.
that you like, the dollar's gonna flow in naturally. That's just
Mhm.
proven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, one more other thing I seen on your social media that you mentioned uh uh stocks or investment
Mhm.
like that, right? Is all this inside your book?
Nah. So what they you know how they be like on whenever you promote your product, stick to one thing. I started getting off track and started trying to teach about stock market, and I realized that I'm more successful in real estate than I am the stock. I'm more successful in real estate than I am the stock market. So uh, I would just rather just stick to what I know. You know what I mean? Just not trying to help people do something else. You know what I mean? It's just too much. Some people want the stock market. Some people want real estate. Some people want drop shipping. Some people want podcasting. That we all want different things. And if you trying to do all of these things, you spreading yourself thin. So I did start teaching about the stock market, but I'm not. I'd still invest in the stock market, but I'm not teaching that part.
Okay. This random, right? This very random hit. You a
But
person like doing shit for fun, man.
you say what?
Random question. Do you like doing stuff for fun or you just a workaholic?
That's crazy. You said that. I'm a workaholic. I ain't gonna stunt. And the thing is, like, I'm in this because I still pay for coaching too. Don't think like if I'm charging for coaching, I pay for it. So I'm in this coaching program, and the lady said this. She was like, everybody do something that you don't do every week. You know what I mean? Like these people in the thing, they trying to get their social media popping, right? And that's what I do. I go on social media every day and post my book, post my product, teach something. You know what I mean? I'm used to that, but I don't do a lot of fun activities. You know what I mean? So when she said that, it was like I got to take a week off and do something. So I went fishing, went to Chicago, just was a tourist. You know what I mean? Not there on no business. We ain't doing that. We ain't looking at no properties. We ain't doing that. We just gonna go fishing and just go sightsee. You know what I mean? So that's what I did last week. It's funny that you said that, but yeah, to answer your question, I'm a workaholic. I be thinking about business 24/7.
I ask you that because it comes from personal experience as me being an author, right? My a lot of people that I be around be like, man, what the hell did you do? Because I find myself with a book or something all the time. If I don't got no book in my hand, I'm reading something as relate to books on my phone, on the computer. I got a piece of paper that I pulled out of my pocket that I'm writing on. People like, dog, you need to get it together. But I gotta figure it out. Like it's a thin line between doing things for fun and trying to further my own goal. But I think it's
Mhm.
actually fun to me. Other people don't see it as fun. They're like, bro, you need to find something else to do. But I think it's fun trying to
Yeah.
further my craft.
On me. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I asked you that to take it and hear it from another person's perspective. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, we all on this same like, and that's probably why you couldn't contact me because you like, man, I see me and him because he hustling, you know what I mean? And that's what it takes because the people that's not with our mindset, they just scrolling. You know what I mean? They chilling, they scrolling, they going to the club this weekend, every weekend, and uh they got this plan, but they ain't did no steps to implement it. You know what I mean? So it take focus, man, to get out there and do this stuff. And that's what we doing. We focus. You focused on your podcast, like you executing. I'm focused on my book. I'm promoting. So that's what it takes, man.
do you keep up with current events?
When it relate to news, and I mean when it relate to like financial stuff, but as far as what's going on in the rap world or what's going on, on social media, like if I scroll past it, I see it, and but nah, like I don't actively keep up with no current events.
I This was like a lead up question because you said you originally from Illinois,
Yeah.
and and there's so much hoopla going on about what. Now I don't even know if I can even talk about this on YouTube without it being struck, but we shall find out, right? Said you Illinois, and there's so much stuff in the news right now as it relates to Donald Trump and Larry Hoover, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully they don't strike the channel, but if they do, they do. It's a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I say, do you keep up with the current events? Do you have any thoughts on that situation?
Nah, cause I ain't from Chicago, so I'm from down by East St. Louis. So the people that he affected mostly gonna be in the Chicago area. So I ain't affiliated. So nah, I ain't really got no. Look, Donald Trump let me out early, so shoot, I got out like 6 months early because of what he did. So it, if anything, he just doing what he do. He trying to win them votes and win over some people, and you know he helping commute sentences. So shoot,
And this is what's going on, right? As it relates to the current events, we as a people, not saying you or me, right?
mhm.
People pay so much attention to current events, and it have nothing to do with our life. You know what I mean? I ain't talking about the hip hop world or the fashion world and none of that stuff. I'm talking about current events. I personally think that if something not affecting me at this
Right.
moment or my
Mhm.
family at this moment, what is the purpose of me even worrying about this stuff? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's why I asked you that, and you gave a good answer saying that is not directly affecting you because you're not affiliated. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That was a great answer, right?
Yeah. I feel the same way you feel about these current events. Like, what do it matter? You know what I mean? Like he said some, she said some. What do it matter? You know what I mean? What difference did it make? So a lot of people spend that time like concerned about things that don't and never will affect them.
For sure.
Like back to the president and everything. Like a lot of people don't like him, right? But he didn't do nothing to you. You know what I mean? Like directly, he probably said some stuff that offended the mess out of you. He offended a lot of people, and a lot of people offend you, right? But the thing is, what did he do to you? So he let me out of prison 6 months early. That's what he did directly to me. You know what I mean? What did he do to you? So forget what he said. What did he do? Because a lot of people say a lot of stuff. So that's how I feel about him, man. You know, I don't care for politics. Just like I did, it's the same thing. Whenever you was in the feds, wasn't you?
No, state.
You was in the state, but I'm pretty sure they got cars up in the state too. So you was they. It's the same thing. Like if you whatever gang affiliation or whatever political affiliation, right? It's the same thing. You riding for your people. So I don't get affiliated with neither one of them because I could care less. I could not care less.
You the only child, bro?
No, I got a sister. We got the same mom and daddy, and then I got six siblings altogether. My mama got three. My daddy got six.
Okay. How did your siblings and all that take it when you let them know you was putting a book together, or did you just spring out your book and let them know that you was got a book out?
Everybody support me, man. They be like, Donald be just doing shit. I mean, Donald just he be doing stuff. All like they support it. They support it. You know, my brother's still slanging them.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Uh, when it comes to siblings, right? It be something, but especially when one is creative. You know what I mean? Are you the only creative person out the bunch?
Uh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, definitely not. My daddy's kids, man. They some people. You know what I mean? Like I got a sister. She like an Instagram star. I got a sister. She a nurse, about to be probably a doctor. It's my daddy's kids. They just be doing stuff. And then my mama's kids. My brother, he do his lawn care stuff, and just everybody just doing them. So I wouldn't say I'm the most creative, but
Meaning, like,
I
do people participate in the arts such as writing, rapping, singing, painting, dancing, whatever the case may be?
do. So I got a sister. She my same age as my daddy's daughter. She probably real creative because she do movies. She do rapping. She do the Instagram thing. A couple 100,000 followers. She real creative with her skits that she do. So I would say she real creative.
That's what's up. You got any more
Mhm.
plans on any other book projects or not at this time?
Uh, so I'm redoing the book. So whenever I wrote this book right here, I had three properties. And it's called the Dunning Kruger effect. You ever heard of that?
Explain it to me and the people. I never heard of that.
Okay, so the Dunning Kruger effect is whenever you do something and you think you know everything, and then you get your head busted and figure out you don't know nothing. You know what I mean? So I wrote this book whenever I had three properties and I thought I knew real estate, and then I acquired like 14 more and realized I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You know what I mean? So uh, I'm redoing this book just because I learned so much more in the time since I published this book. You know what I mean? And now I'm to the point where I'm just gonna assume I still don't know nothing. You know what I mean? Like until I start helping these people and getting this stuff going, we just gonna just keep on learning.
So it got to be revised then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It got to be revised.
So your project is the type of intellectual property that just keep going and going and going. Because
It's gonna.
as much as you find out from your journey, it's more to add to the original version.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because you know how ones be like the first edition, second edition, third edition, and now it's
Hmm.
20 or 30 years later and they still adding additions. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
thing. That's the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Fiction
Hmm.
can come out and explode. Whether 1 or 2 years, it's a mad explosion and then it died down. But when you have nonfiction work, those be the type of projects that sell for 20, 30 years, never stop selling. You know,
Yeah.
I had to learn that from experience because I have a couple of nonfiction books out and I have
You went off, bro. You stopped.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. You good?
I should have turned off my ringer. Every time the ringer ring it messed up the broadcast. But
Okay.
what 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 I was saying, I had to learn from my own right because I started with nonfiction, which was a memoir that I wrote when I got released from prison. That book uh was the catalyst for me end up getting a publishing deal on the strength of
Mhm.
completing that book. And to this day, that project is probably the best selling piece of work that I got, but it's steadily moving units. It's not moving as many units that it moved when it first came out, but it's a steady pace with it. Versus my fiction books come out with a bang and then it just stopped. You see what I'm saying? So at
Mhm.
any given time, I can go back and add on to the nonfiction book as relates to life experience that I have gained over the years. But you can't do that with fiction books because you already told the story and the story ended.
I ain't even think about that, bro. You absolutely right. Rich Dad, Poor Dad been doing it for the last 30 years.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And want to be like, how can this book be a bestseller for 10 years straight? It's the same book, but it's a different edition with different experiences. And when you
Mhm.
said you revising it, that's the first thing that I thought about. You went to real estate, so you're gonna constantly, constantly keep getting information as relate to your craft. And your craft is not the purpose of writing books. Your craft is being the best that you can be in real estate.
Mhm.
So that's kind of slick there. I haven't got a copy of your book, but I'm telling you right now, I'm damn sure gonna get a copy of it and I'm gonna post about it after I'm done reading it on social media. You know, I'm
Okay.
real. We done been in this thing 45 minutes, right? I don't want to take up too much of your time, or I don't want to hold my viewers up that's tapping in. So before we end this, do you have any last parting words or advice to the people?
Uh, so my last parting word is gonna be a question and a statement. So I see that you got the L at the end of your name. All right. So you Moorish?
More
Or
Shamir?
did you study that while you was locked up? Or have you studied that?
Yes, I have. I got my nap
Okay.
more than 20 years ago.
Okay. So my last parting word is gonna be for people to understand themselves, understand who they are, understand where they come from, because when you know where you come from, you can have a clear understanding on where you're going. You know what I mean? And I think whenever I started, I was with the Moors just studying a lot of stuff, and that just helped me understand. Like, hold up, we not who they say we are. We are great. You know what I mean? I think that right there is why is the reason why. You know what I mean? Why I'm studying, why I'm reading, why I'm understanding stuff, just stuff. You know what I mean? So I think that those would be my parting words: to understand yourself and know where you come from, so you can know where you're going, man.
No doubt. Let everybody know where they can find you at on social media and get your book.
So my name is Donald Hinton on all platforms, and then my book is on From Prison to Properties.com, or you can go straight to Amazon and get it. From Prison to Properties. And it's the basic understanding of how to get into real estate. It's and I offer a course also where I teach you. We get one-on-one sessions and we make it happen.
No doubt, man. I want to appreciate you for coming on today, sharing your story with
Mhm.
people. For everybody that's tuning in, I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope that y'all gained some valuable information that y'all didn't have to pay for. Don't be afraid to hit him up online so y'all can get the book directly from him, cutting out all middlemen. And with that being said, tune back in on Black Bottom Bread Word Talk in the next episode. Peace.